Okay, Pitt, it is Saturday afternoon. We're at the Tampa Supercross. What brought you to Florida from Europe?
What brought me to Florida is this fantastic sport and this fantastic team we are running over here in America, and it's a tradition. I mean, that's like coming over early in the year. That's how we all started when I came first time over to work together with racing in North America. And yeah, it's always important in the beginning of the year to get a feeling how the team is feeling, how the riders feel, and what we also can do in the factory as a next step. Because once we start riding, everything is set and done. I cannot help them a lot here this weekend, but of course it's super important to take back also the message live, what's needed as a next step. So every day we wake up and we want to do things better.
And an important weekend too. Chase has the red plate, Tom, defending champion, comes out with the red plate, and Julian's bike's parked over there with the red plate too. So you guys have a very good presence right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's really amazing what the team did so far this year, especially in our situation where we have been under pressure the whole winter, and then come out, win Anaheim, and now having red plates just everywhere. Yeah, I mean, it's what like Juju did on 250 was, I mean, we are all hoping his next level is being on the podium, but no, he came out really strong, and Chase feeling good, and yeah, it's a pretty cool situation to see that all the work turns into results, and we want to keep on doing that.
To watch Anaheim 1, because you mentioned it, how was that? For the months that led up into that, the weeks, I'm sure it was a very stressful time, and then to see Chase go out and win, how's the emotion for that for you?
It was emotional. I mean, we had like goosebumps and tears in the factory because yeah, it was a tough moment for the factory, what happened in November, December. And then, yeah, we just told the race team, guys, please stay strong. We have everything what we need to succeed. The bike's ready. We trained like crazy, and but then, of course, I mean, the competition is also super strong in Supercross, and all these other factories, they're doing a huge effort. But come out winning that Anaheim 1, it was, for me, it was like, it changed the world, because we had so much negative discussions, and of course also press, because the situation was negative. So the first positive news about us was winning Anaheim. So it was a big bang, and it changed the mood in the factory. It was so motivating for everybody to see we are strong, we are there, we are alive, and we can perform. That gave also a big boost to the whole factory, and that was needed. So best moment to win a race.
The fact that I have you face to face to ask a very important question that everybody's been wondering, how is the racing side separate from everything else? Because that has been a big talking point, and I've heard 7 different explanations from people that don't have a KTM shirt on. So how is racing protected and able to keep going forward? Because that was a big question for so long.
I mean, first of all, we have great partners, sponsors. In the worst moments, like they stepped it up to help us, to support, to protect the race department, and at the end we are still getting the budget, the main budget from KTM. So you cannot split it up. I mean, saying if the company would fail, the race team is safe, and it's also not needed, because we are there to promote the brand. We are promoting the factory. We are not there just for a racing reason. I mean, when we are on the racetrack and it's like Roger and the team, everybody, we are racing people. We want to win races, but at the end of the day, we get the budget to promote the brand. In our case, 3 brands, KTM, GasGas and Husqvarna. So we need success in the factory, and to be split up and having the whole racing department in an own company help at the most dramatic moments. Then, like, we had the budget to continue. Then also in the whole restructuring process, racing was announced as the important marketing tool for the future to stabilize the company. So we had the full support in the whole process to go on racing. So we didn't go racing to have fun. We clearly asked the company, should we go racing? And the answer was clearly yes. Best things we can do is go race and win races and promote the brand. So that's how we went forward. and that we could win races, that we could win the Dakar, and then having like end of January you have 2 red plates and a Dakar victory in the pocket. Immediately was again promotion for the company, and so we are separate. But like in long term, the future is there if the company is strong, and that company is strong, and the company is on an incredible comeback, and you're gonna see that company stronger than ever in the future. We had to take some really hard measurements. You cannot believe how hard we had to go through some things. We had to reduce things, we had to stop projects, but everybody's committed to keep the winning projects together, and that's why we are here, and that's why we're gonna be here for long term.
You said the morale after Chase won and then after Dakar really helped within the company, but for the investors that you guys are trying to pursue right now, how nice was that for them to see, hey, no, they're solid. Like, the bike is good. All the bikes that they have, they're making progress. I'm sure that is something for someone that wants to invest, they see it, and it's positive.
That's why I'm in love with all my racers, you know. If you need them, they are there. So the racers, they perform under pressure. We had pressure, but we gave the answer on the track. And to whoever we talked, like even sponsors who came on board, our existing sponsors, they just supported us, and yeah, they wanted to see us on the race. We were there, we performed, we gave the results, but also it's really an interesting moment to see that a race department becomes an investment possibility, and there are investors who are interested to become part of the project. So also we have really interesting discussions from that side. But yeah, the racing world is quite simple. Everything is based on results, so you better perform if you want to have good things coming to you.
It's still win on Sunday, sell on Monday is still the theme.
Yes, because by looking to all the business we could do with racing in the future, that's super cool, that's super nice. But I repeat, we are here to promote the factory and the brand. So the biggest benefit from racing we have for the company, and sell motorcycles in the future. That's a running circle, and but I would say in our case it's just like a dream work around the clock. Like our customers, they like racing, they watch us on the race. We love our customers. The guys who build bikes, who develop bikes, they race. Not on a professional level, but they are hobby racers. So it's like all one community, and we just try to make this all click together. And so if one has a problem in our circle, it's painful for everybody. So that's why it doesn't really help. We win races, company is not healthy. So we need to have everything on the same level, and the racers did the start to show the way for the future of the company.
I know it was a really tricky couple months leading into this, because there are quite a few people that do not have jobs right now and that you hope come back when everything settles out. How difficult was it to make those decisions? Because there are people that you know that have been there since you got in the position that you're in, and you know how critical they are to every step of the way, and then you have to put more pressure on the other people that stayed, because they now have to do 2 and 3 jobs sometimes.
I mean, that's the critical part of restructuring. Sounds so professional, but at the end, restructuring means also save costs, and then at the end we had to take some steps which were really painful, because all the people around us, I mean, they came because we wanted them and they wanted to come, so you're losing friends in taking these decisions, and that was super painful. It was tough on everybody, the whole management who is involved in these decisions took this really serious. But at the end, we still decided also to reduce things, stop complete projects, or also stop with one or the other team. Globally, we have reduced the racing program with 12 riders. Behind the 12 riders, you had trucks, people at home in the factory. We have people who are the service partner for these guys. So this reduction came like it starts with the rider, but behind there is a material package. There is all the people who work for it, and that's where a lot of the reduction happened, and that's painful. But we just didn't want to drop the quality of everything and still continue doing everything. We said, to survive in this hard sport, you still need to perform. And that's why we took the hard way to say we need to cut off things to do things what we are doing still on the highest possible quality, because there is no room to say we do it a little bit less or do it cheaper. You don't win if you just drop the quality of the bike, of the development, and of the riders. So you need the best riders on the best bike with the best people around them. And but yeah, there was a hard part to that whole story.
A big question within the paddock here is how important is off-road racing, motocross in particular, to KTM? For you as the guy that makes the racing decision, how critical are we? How critical is two-wheel off-road racing over here?
It's the backbone of everything. So we grew up with off-road. We could create an incredible company. When Mr. PIERER took over the company more than 30 years ago, we started with 200 employees, building 6,000 motorcycles. In our all-time high, we had like 6,000 employees, and we produced 380,000 motorcycles. So the journey was a crazy one, and everything is based on the success we had in the off-road world, racing and market. So off-road is just such a massive, important part of our company, and it will always be. Whatever we do in the street segment, that's that came on board later. Super important also for growth and everything, but we will never touch the core business where we come from. That's off-road, and that's where we are and where we want to stay strong in the future.
When I came to Austria in September, I got to see the sport bike that you guys are putting out, and to see them pull the cover back on it after years of development, all the prototypes that led up to that. For you guys to be racing MotoGP, you have to have a bike that you try to sell. It's not a race bike, but there are people that are going to want a sport bike like that. And for you guys to reintroduce that market, I mean, it shows that your investment is in there.
Yeah, I mean, you're doing MotoGP. I think not to promote a particular bike. I mean, that's brand awareness in countries where people didn't know KTM. We became popular by doing MotoGP, and of course you promote the street segment with MotoGP more than the off-road segment. But even like if you're there, it's like racing people are racing people, and you cannot imagine if I come to the MotoGP paddock Sunday morning European time, everybody I meet tells me about a Supercross result. So the MotoGP paddock is connected to Supercross. But my Supercross guys, they ask me about a MotoGP project. It's all about racing, it's all about bike, it's all about community. Yeah, we are there to promote the brand. And once we stepped into MotoGP, that was 2017. In the next 6 years, we doubled the turnover of the company. Not because of MotoGP, but I'm sure it was a big part of making the brand more famous in many countries. But then in these countries, you sell also off-road bikes if they know the brand, and they start to follow us. So it's like we were touching the limit, because in the off-road world, we had just a big market share all around the world. That market didn't get bigger. We had a lot of market shares. So for future growth, we had to make a proper step into the street segment, and it worked. But now it's a matter of also resizing the company to the right level. But that doesn't mean reducing street, reducing off-road. No, just find the right size for both of these big segments in the future, and yeah, just let's get back on track, let's get ready to race. Let's be a little bit smaller but more efficient, and that's what we are working on. But for sure, please don't ask us for kind of any decisions about between road, off-road, where your heart is beating. Like, we love it. It's bikes, it's KTM. That's the effort we are doing.
I have 2 more questions. I appreciate the time. This has been great. People in the pits here, they see MotoGP, but it's still so foreign to us that sometimes I don't think it sets. You really have to go see a MotoGP race in person, and especially to see it in Europe to understand how big it is. As a guy that goes to so many MotoGP races and knows what's going on from Dorna meetings to IRTA meetings or whatever, for a motocross fan, how big is MotoGP really?
I feel it's like, you know, it's like Supercross, like Supercross where you have a full stadium with the big crowd. That atmosphere is so special that, like in MotoGP, also you get these races with more than 100,000 spectators on Sunday, and if you come to big number of spectators, that's just a unique atmosphere. And but then the racing itself, I agree, you should see it live, because you need to help me with the calculation, but like if they go more than 350 kilometers an hour, just hit the front brake and the rear end is in the air. Just such a piece of rubber on the front is on the ground, and then they just flip the bike, still on the front wheel, rear is in the air. I mean, the guys are also artists. It's such a high level of performance, and but then again, that's why I love my job. I can talk to all these guys. I mean, I can talk to Pedro Acosta, who is doing MotoGP. He's a very special guy. But then you come here and you talk to Chase Sexton. He's a very special guy. So the guys are so much closer to each other than they ever think. They do a different sport, but to perform on the highest level, the background is the same. What they think, how they work, how they prepare, how much attention they give to every single detail, and that was for me so impressive to learn about my work in KTM, starting just in motocross, being an ex-motocross rider, but then you come over to see Supercross, then you do enduro, you check the rally guys, and then you create a road race department. You feel a good technician is a good technician. He has the same motivation to do a good job. To build a good motorcycle, same thing. You need to just go extreme, check all the data, go extreme testing, and then you can build the bike. And for the riders, if they are not prepared just better than the competition, they don't win. So that's for me the interesting part to see. The racers are so much closer to each other, what they all think, but I'm changing the paddock every week, so I can see that. But that's why I'm feeling good. If I'm here, I feel like home. If I go to the MotoGP paddock, I feel like home, because racing people are just so strong and ready to put in effort. And in racing also, you're ready to take a certain risk and to perform. So yeah, let's just share the passion. We all love racing.
Okay, that perfectly segues into the last question that I have for you. I love MotoGP. I watch it every week. I mean, literally every practice session, I watch it with my son in my arms. He falls asleep to it. I love it. The thing that I like the most about it is you guys see that you have to go to other places where motorcycling is huge. Like the first time I went to Italy and I saw all the scooters lined up outside of EICMA, I was like, that's unbelievable. And then I saw women in high heels riding scooters to work. That really turned me on for the first time of how big motorcycling is outside of the little world that I grew up in. But then to see what's happening in Southeast Asia, in India, in China, and knowing what's going on, that there are really, really good riders there. Like you see Instagram clips sometimes and you're like, wow, look at that barefoot guy riding a wheelie. And you know they're good riders. Something I really like what you guys are doing is what Selvaraj is doing, building the Indian contingent up. I know that he's had some people come back and forth learning Supercross. A couple weeks ago, they had the first ever Indian kid ride the KTM Junior Challenge. It's important for you guys to find the next international talent and show what's out there rather than just keep hitting the same talent pool every single time.
Yeah, let me add one more thing like to the MotoGP, because you said you're watching everything. For example, you go to Jerez, Spain GP, you have to pass a motorcycle parking lot with 70,000 motorcycles before you enter the track. That's how all these guys arrive to that race. So that's also what's like unique. It's such a strong community around MotoGP. It's just nice to be there. Almost, yeah. It's like impressive, like walking into a full stadium and see motocross. But yeah, back to your other question. I mean, building up young riders. That's also what we do forever. I mean, we always base the future on our young kids. Like, and that's like we on the street. We do the Red Bull Rookies Cup, bringing 30 new talents to the paddock every year. But that's what we learn in off-road. Like having all these young guys with us from the beginning, riding a 65 motorcycle, and then stay with us 85, 125. You know them forever. You know their family. You know a lot. But then once they start to perform in the top class, you have such a strong relation. Look at Tom Vialle, how many years he is with us. How fantastic is that to see him now winning a Supercross title in USA? But then you meet him here, it's like coming home. And then, but yeah, one mastermind behind all our junior work. One of them is Sel. I mean, he brought the kids already to the stadium when nobody even knew about KTM in the USA. And now he did the same thing in India, like bringing just one guy with a sprinter van to the race, and they won a Supercross title over there. So these are also things on the sideline, not the things with the big budget, but you need also investment into that. But that's what's building the foundation for so many things, that we are building it up from the bottom and not just trying to buy the Supercross champion We really love to build up kids for every sport, motocross, enduro. Wherever we go, we want to build up the young guys, and that's part of how we created. Also, I think the name of KTM family was also created through that all the junior work we are doing and how connected we are to the families of our riders.
Thanks, Pitt. This was awesome.
Thank you.